Today I want to tell you about an airsoft experience that was quite like any other that I've ever had. This event combines the best aspects of RPG games such as the Fallout franchise, the best of airsoft, and LARPing into one fantastic 40-hour event. And that is Omega Productions, otherwise known as Survive Omega. I attended their event, Desolation 2, and in today's video I'll be giving my feedback and review of the event and why I think that it is such a fantastic and unique take on airsoft and LARP. What's up, Airsofters? My name is Lane, and welcome back to the BB Warrior. We're here to help you have a better time both on and off the airsoft field through our educational content. And if you enjoy videos like these, I'd love it if you joined our community by hitting that subscribe button down below, and while you're at it, make sure to hit the bell icon next to it for updates. We post brand new videos every single Friday. Now, full disclosure, the folks over at Omega were kind enough to comp my ticket to attend this game, so I did not pay for my ticket for this event, but I did help as an NPC as well. So while I was helping staff the event and I had a specific role that I was to play, I was given a lot of creative freedom about how I wanted to do it, how I wanted to approach my character, and how I overall affected the universe that the folks over at Omega have created. So there will be timestamps in the description below, and as well I will be referencing games such as Fallout, because Fallout New Vegas is my favorite game of all time, and there's a lot of characteristics of this game and a lot of mechanics that are similar to the game mechanics that you'll find in Bethesda style RPGs, I guess you could say. So let's go over the lore and backstory of Omega really quick, because it helps to provide a lot of context to the wasteland that they have created. Essentially, governments have failed. There was an asteroid which destroyed a lot of the population, hence creating the wasteland, and it has a lot of dust storms that come through that can kill you instantly if you breathe it in. We'll go into that later in the video. That's a quick little wrap up of the lore of Omega. But you are a survivor in the wasteland, and what makes this game particularly different from other events out there, specifically other 40-hour events? Well, it's not a force-on-force game. This was one of the most unique things, and one of the things that, admittedly, before I attended this event, made me kind of skeptical. Throwing 100 players into this area, there's about 100 players at this event, plus the NPCs like myself, I was wondering, is this actually going to work? Well, it did surprisingly well. Communities were broken up into 3 separate camps, and then from there you really had a lot of freedom. If you wanted to betray your camp, you could do that. If you wanted to move to a different camp, you had the freedom to do so. And again, I was a little bit skeptical about these events at first, because I've been to a lot of games with role players and things like that, and they haven't been particularly fun games. I will openly admit that. There are things that I didn't enjoy. I was a little bit skeptical about Omega at the first place, or at my first glance of it before I attended this event. But the mechanics that they have in place really make you work together and not just be like that guy and ruin it for everyone else. It was really nothing like that within this event. There were some people who were more hostile than others, don't get me wrong, but everyone, they stayed in their character and they survived through the apocalypse together. So some of the interesting things about Omega, besides the fact that this is not force on force, you don't start off with any ammo. And when I say any ammo, I mean any. You start off getting into this game with 0 ammo. There are already hostile players out there. There are people that want to kill you, but you and your group have just survived a dust storm. You're moving through, you need to get into a camp to settle down and survive. This was really cool, and one of the things that I really liked about the event, because the first encounter going in the major city, there were people there already, trying to fleece it, trying to get money out of you, things like that. And while they do have a monetary system within this game, there was scrap, which was kind of cool. Casings, like bullet casings, are used for ammunition. So it was a really, really cool dynamic. But getting back on track, you don't start off with any ammo. All the ammo that you get, there was a little bit at each community, but you either needed to buy your ammo or scavenge for it otherwise. And this presents you with a really unique dilemma that you don't find in any other airsoft game, because there are opportunities when you could kill people easily, but do you want to waste the ammo on them? One of these situations that we had Friday night in this event is me and the 2 other people that I was with within my role. We were kind of like survivalist, preppy people. We had like stashes hidden throughout the AO of supplies, and we were kind of encouraging people to find them, but if people got a little bit too close and kind of found them for us, then we'd start to aggro them, things like that. So we were sitting there by this bridge, and 5 players walked by, and there's 3 of us. I was with some of the guys from Gun Gamers. And we bring up our rifles and we say, it's going to be a casing each for you to cross this bridge. In a 5v3 fight, they could have won, like easily. They could have, they would have taken some casualties, but just by pure numbers, they could have beat us in that fight. They chose to pay those casings. And that was something that I found that was really unique about this event. Again, that you have to choose when you engage people and when you don't. I had plenty of situations when I saw people that I could have shot easily. I just didn't want to waste the ammo on them because they weren't an immediate threat. So like my whole philosophy throughout this event was, unless it was something that was like kind of scripted, they're getting close to one of our supply cases, was wait for them to shoot first. Because then I know that I'm not going to be wasting the ammo, not killing someone that I honestly don't need to or anything like that. Another really interesting dynamic that no one else in the airsoft world does is their dust storms. Now the dust storms are dust that is created from Enola Gay smoke grenades. They are these huge ones, like ones that you don't typically find that you can throw. They're like the size of like a 1 liter bottle, and they just dump smoke. And these dust storms can kill you instantly unless you're wearing some sort of gas mask. And this was a really interesting dynamic because there'd be situations where you would be in the middle of a firefight with multiple people, you'd be at the trading post, whatever it may be, and then all of a sudden this dust would just like billow in, and unless you threw your gas mask on, you were going to die. It was really, really interesting to watch the confusion and chaos, as people are getting in like 12-man engagements, and then just a dust storm pops through, and it's like, oh, masks on, everyone's throwing their masks on, trying to get back and go through that firefight, and keeping that mask on, which is cumbersome, especially to try to shoot accurately. It was really interesting dynamic. It's something that I've like thought about before. I'm like, well, what if we had like gas or something like that in airsoft that could kill you? But I think that the dust storms that they do in Omega were really well executed, and I really enjoyed them. There were situations where there'd be like tons of smoke, like one grenade just kind of billowing across the field. It was a really interesting dynamic. And then finally rounding it out, no electronic attachments on your gun. You're trying to keep it as bare bones as possible, so no red dots, anything like that. You're allowed to use optics that don't use batteries, and you could throw on like a T1 if you took the battery out and didn't use the reticle. I chose to just use iron sights. I figure I might as well go for it. And then the exception is you can like tape a flashlight to your gun for night games. That's just a safety thing. You're supposed to have a flashlight and one that can do red light for when you're dead at night as well. What I really, really like about Omega is, despite the fact that it is this like open world, do whatever you want, there still was somewhat of a story, and it revolved around a cult that was settled in the AO. At first they were pretty harmless. They were just trying to like preach their gospel, get members, things like that, but Saturday night there was a night raid over at this huge like castle complex that's on the AO at Skirmish Paintball. I don't remember the name of it. And essentially we took the trader in town, held him hostage, and everyone in the AO kind of worked together to fight off these cultists. And that was like the coolest part of this game, is like 100 people just pushing this castle, killing all the cultists, and saving their trader for the next day. And then this accumulated again in a nice final ending where the cultists kind of took over the center town, and there was just wave after wave of players coming in to take us all out. I thought that was like one of the coolest things about this game is that it did have like an actual proper ending. For a lot of these games that are kind of freeform, let you do whatever you want, it really had a story to it, and it was really nice. It wasn't forced or anything like that. I felt like it was subtle and kind of gave everyone a common goal towards the end of the day. There were also some smaller stories. I know that our preppers had issues with the Russian players, so they had a Russian flag. We were trying to pay people to go steal it from them. There was a system for setting up water filtration to get extra water at your camps, things like that. So Omega, like in my opinion, Omega was like a lot of random encounters that you find from Bethesda style games where you're going across the road and then, hey, I need your help, or hey, I'm gonna kill you, things like that. That's a lot of what Omega is, and it's definitely one of those games that if you're not a go-getter, if you don't want to go out there and find the fun yourself, you're not gonna have fun at Omega. If you sit in your camp for 40 hours, you're not gonna have fun. And that, while I don't really have anything negative to say about the game itself, I will say that this game is not a game for everyone. If you don't kind of like those role-playing aspects, if you don't like a lot of making your own fun and making the story as you go, or you just wait for someone to tell you what to do, you're not going to have a good time at Omega. There are a lot of small little side missions, again, like these little factions working against each other, building water filters. There was a medic character that could make you, like respawn bandages, things like that. There's a lot of really small little intricate details that made Omega so immersive and such a fun game. Compared to other kind of role-playing LARP style of airsoft games, this is by far the best one I've ever been to. It blows everything else I've tried out of the water, and I can guarantee I will be at other Omega games. Now, Omega does have a companion app that you can use alongside their game. This will help with the bounties that are posted. You can get rumors, things like that, and there's also a link to the rule set. One thing that I would change about the app personally, obviously I'm not an app developer, when you click on the rule set, it brings you to their website where you can then download a PDF. This is going to seem like a real nitpicky type thing, but there was not a lot of service out here, so I didn't use the app once this weekend. If it's possible, I'd love to see these rules built into the app itself, so you don't open up your browser and save a PDF and open that, because for a lot of people, myself included, I didn't have enough service to use the app, so I can't give a great opinion of that. It is nice that it has the bounties, but it just simply wasn't working for me in the service that I had. But it'd be great if it was already in the app to take a look at. They have two sets of rules. They have like their full rule set, but then they have kind of like a condensed one for the really important stuff. I wish that like that one would be built into the app so you didn't have to wait for it to load up in your browser and things like that. It'd be a nice way to check the rules right on the spot, because I know that I personally broke a very small rule during this event as well. That's my fault. I'm not trying to say anything else like that. But it'd be nice to have a rule set that you could easily check in the middle of the game, because sometimes, confusion happens, things like that. But again, I didn't use the app at all, so I don't think that it's like necessary to have fun at this app, or have fun at this game, obviously, because I had a great time. But that's like one of my only little things, is while they have a companion app, it wasn't very useful. If you want to know about the bounties, simply go into town and, take a look at the bounty board right up at the trader, things like that. But overall, Survive Omega, Omega Productions, as a game that I went into it not thinking that I would enjoy it, I had a fantastic time. I would say what I appreciated about this game the most was not the storyline, anything like that. It was the amazing people that went. It was the people that were in character that really sold this game to me. People that were hostile, people that just wanted to help out. Seeing those interactions between people, midway through a firefight, trying to make deals with each other so that you don't end up in body bags. It was just such a great experience and something that I've never found in Airsoft before. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, over the last couple of months, I've been in kind of a slump with Airsoft. I haven't been enjoying it as much as I have years prior. This event changed that. Like, I am so excited to go to their next event in West Virginia in September. If you want information for that, I'll have it linked down in the description below. But like Omega, I'm genuinely excited to go out and play Airsoft again. It's because of this event. So if you're into role-playing games, again, if you love Fallout, the Elder Scrolls, whatever it may be, if you like that sort of game, I think you're going to like Omega. This is not an expensive event to get into as long as you have camping supplies, a working airsoft gun, you're pretty much good to go. Like, that's all that you need. And that's what I really like about it. This game kind of combines Airsoft and LARP and like bushcraft. It was a great event and I would highly recommend it. But that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for staying until the end. I hope that you enjoyed. Again, I really enjoyed this event, and if that's the style of gameplay that you're looking for, if you're looking for something different than your standard Force and Force game, I would highly recommend checking out Omega Productions. If you want to check out information for their next event, Perdition, you can click the link in the description below to check it out on their website and to buy tickets. But if you enjoyed this video and this was your first time here, I'd love it if you joined our community by hitting that subscribe button down below, and while you're at it, make sure to hit the bell icon next to it for updates when we post brand new videos every single Friday. But my name is Lane, talking about Desolation 2, and I will see you all next time.